And to you, welcome to World at Noon on Osrc TV. I am Obi Chukwemeka Oti, and happy Eid al-Fitr celebration. The governor of Ondo State, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, has felicitated the Muslim community in the state on this year's Eid al-Kabir celebration. The governor, in his Salah message, prays that the celebration will bring blessings, peace and prosperity for all Muslim faithful in the state. Governor Aiyedatiwa reiterates the commitment of his administration to the rapid development of the state and the sustenance of religious harmony and peaceful coexistence among the people, while assuring the Muslim faithful on the fulfillment of promises made by his administration on inclusive governance. The governor urges them to continue to give the government necessary support. Governor Aiyedatiwa prays that Allah showers his countless blessings upon all and makes this year's Eid al-Kabir a memorable one. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu, former President Muhammadu Buhari, the Sultan of Sokoto Sa'ad Abubakar III, and the President of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Archbishop Daniel Oko, on Sunday professed solutions to the economic challenges confronting the country. Against the backdrop of Eid, which was celebrated amid the high in food inflation, Tinubu called on Nigerians to show more care for their neighbors and extend charity to all in the spirit of Eid al-Kabir. The president, who observed his Eid prayers in Lagos, emphasized that some degree of sacrifice would be necessary to advance the nation. In a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Ajurin Galani, the former Lagos State governor reminded citizens that citizenship comes with responsibilities. As Muslims celebrated the Eid al-Kabir, governors and community leaders called for sacrifice as highlighted through acts of charity and kindness to engender peace and progress in the country. The governors prayed to Allah to make peace, unity and progress permanent features of the states and Nigeria as a whole, while urging citizens to unite and work for a better country. The governors also prayed for continuous peace and prosperity for the states and Nigeria, urging unity among citizens. They highlighted the significance of unity, cooperation and mutual respect, urging Nigerians to continue to work towards peace and progress. In the meantime, the coincidence of this year's Eid al-Kabir celebrations falling on Sunday, a day of worship for Christians, attests to the fact that God is one despite religious divisions. Sulaiman Abdul Hakim, the coordinating missionary for Ahmadiyya in Ondo State, was speaking in Akure. He explained that the lives of Christians and Muslims are closely knitted through shared experiences and mutual respect of two branches of a root of the same God. Tosin Adebowale has the rest of the story.
As preparation for Eid al-Kabir festivities intensify, the Federal Road Safety Corps (FRSC) is also intensifying efforts to ensure road safety across Nigeria. With millions of citizens traveling to celebrate with family and friends, the Corps remains vigilant, committed to safeguarding lives and ensuring that the spirit of Eid al-Kabir is not marred by avoidable road tragedies. The sector commander, Corps member Ezekiel Sonala, during a press briefing, said it is the goal of the Corps to achieve zero accident during this festive period.
How do we celebrate this Salah without recording of crashes? That is the reason why all of us are here. And of course, with all hands on deck, with all the stakeholders that are here, if we will work the way it's supposed to be, then we will achieve our goal of zero crash, not only during the Salah celebration, but beyond.
He also emphasized that the Corps is deploying additional personnel and resources to major highways and critical points to ensure compliance to safety and precautionary measures.
We have deployed 1,080 staff comprising of regular and special marshals for this Salah special patrol. Of course, we have equally deployed 15 patrol vehicles with 4 ambulances with 1 tow truck, all of them with a view to, like I said, ensuring that we don't have crash during this Salah and beyond. We are not only looking at the Salah, but we are looking at what happens after the Salah. So we must sustain the enforcement.
Sonala implored motorists to ensure that their vehicles are in good condition before embarking on trips.
Some of us that our driver's license have expired. Please, if you don't have a valid driver's license, you don't need to drive during this Salah period. We will impound your vehicle here. Go and renew it. We are in rainy season. So what we need to do now, the Salah falls within rainy season. That means we must make sure that we have standard tires on our vehicles.
The sector commander expressed confidence that with collective efforts and cooperation from the public, the Eid-el-Kabir celebrations can be joyous and devoid of tragic incidents. Tosin Adibowale, Osrc News.
We hope to bring you the story on the coincidence of this year's Eid-el-Kabir celebration falling on Sunday and being a day of worship for Christians, attesting to the fact that God is one despite religious differences. And the federal government has declared today, Monday 17, and tomorrow, June 18, 2024, public holidays to mark this year's Eid-el-Kabir festival. The government congratulated all Muslim Ummah, both at home and in the diaspora, on the occasion and called on the Muslim Ummah to continue to imbibe the spirit of peace, kindness and sacrifice as exemplified by Prophet Ibrahim. The federal government also urged Nigerians to use the period to pray for unity, prosperity and the stability of the country, reiterating that President Bola Tinubu's administration was committed to safeguarding the lives and property of all Nigerians. Now moving to other stories, Guaranty Trust Bank (GTB) has dragged no fewer than 60 top executives of 13 commercial banks to court as a pending suit between GT Bank and Afex Commodity Exchange over 17 billion naira and Borrowers program loan lingers. The 60 executives, including the chairman, chief executive officers, directors and company secretaries of the 13 banks, are facing contempt proceedings for allegedly failing to implement a no-debit order reportedly placed on the accounts of Afex Commodity Exchange with the banks. In suit involving Guaranty Trust Bank Limited and Afex Commodities Exchange Limited, the Federal High Court Lagos Division, presided by Justice C.J. Aneke, signed an order for the bank chairman, MDs, directors, company secretaries, and the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation to be committed to jail for failing to obey its May 27, 2024 ruling. The matter was adjourned to next Thursday. Parties cited for contempt include Access Bank, Citibank, Jay's Bank, Union Bank, Fidelity Bank, First Bank of Nigeria PLC, First City Monument Bank, NDIC, liquidator for Heritage Bank, Polaris Bank, Stanbic IBTC Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, Taj Bank, United Bank for Africa, and Zenith Bank alongside its principal offices. In the court ruling dated May 27, 2024, 20 banks were directed to transfer monies standing to the credit of the respondent into the FX's account with GTB until the 17.81 billion naira is repaid. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency said that it destroyed not less than 10,534.78 kilograms of cannabis, also called marijuana, in Edo State. NDLEA's spokesman, Mr. Femi Babafemi, said that the farm was located at Unhe Forest in Ovia North East local government area of the state. Babafemi, who said that operatives of the agency who raided the forest arrested 4 suspects, said that 16 kg of processed cannabis was also recovered for the purpose of prosecution. Babafemi added that operatives of the agency also destroyed 18,425 kilograms of the same psychoactive substance on 7.37 hectares of farmland. Now, outside Nigerian, Muslims around the world have marked the Feast of Sacrifice. They traditionally sacrifice a sheep and give the meat to the poor. The faithful focus on placing God before themselves, recalling Abraham's willingness to sacrifice his son in submission to the Almighty. It's an emotional day too far for pilgrims in Mina near Mecca. They have started the final rituals of their Hajj, but extreme heat has been a challenge for pilgrims. Omosheke Kolawole reports.
A day of celebration for pilgrims and Muslims around the world, but here on the plains of Mina, Eid is being overshadowed by the plight of Palestinians suffering in Israel wars on the Gaza Strip.
I don't feel Eid because of what's happening to our brothers in Gaza. We tell them our hearts are with you.
My feelings for our brother and sister in Gaza, I hope they're doing well and they can celebrate the Eid also with healthy and stop the ceasefire. And
Hajj is underway, where pilgrims will spread the 3 days symbolically stoning the devil, a ritual that represents people's desire to obey God and never listening to the whispers of temptation. According to tradition, the devil revealed himself to Abraham and his son Ismail, where they were on the way to Mecca to build the Kaaba. Angry Abraham and Ismail threw stone at the devil. Stoning the devil is now a key ritual in Hajj. Hajj is a spiritual journey and also a physical exercise. Pilgrims spend a great amount of time outdoors, and some prefer to walk long distances as they perform their rituals. They brave the heat under scorching sunshine, but they say it's worth taking a few small risks for the sake of greater rewards in afterlife. The plains of Mina are an important stopover in Hajj. This is where pilgrims will spend 3 days celebrating the feast of sacrifice and continue the symbolic stoning of the devil. They will return to Mecca for a final walk around the Kaaba, and then Hajj will come to an end. Omosheke Olodmode, Osrc News.
Russia's President Vladimir Putin hasn't ruled out negotiations with Ukraine, but says he needs guarantees. He wants Kyiv to withdraw its troops from 4 Ukrainian regions and abandon its bid to join NATO. Odwaya Sawyer reports.
As world leaders gathered in Switzerland for Ukraine's peace summit, there was one obvious country missing. The country, with its 2022 invasion, started Europe's deadliest conflict since World War II. Russia, it wasn't invited, and it didn't want to come anyway. So President Vladimir Putin used the summit he wasn't at to issue his updated terms for peace.
Ukrainian troops must be completely withdrawn from the Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republics, the Kherson and Zaporizhia regions.
Ukrainian troops must be completely withdrawn from the Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republics, the Kherson and Zaporizhia regions. These are the 4 regions of Ukraine that Russia has nominally annexed, but not actually fully occupied or controlled. Putin's demands have shifted since the invasion nearly 2.5 years ago, with hopes of taking Kiev long gone and the front lines now largely static. There is little talk anymore of regime change or Ukraine's demilitarization, but NATO membership is still a Russian no-no.
As soon as Kiev declares that it is ready for such a decision and begins the actual withdrawal of troops from these regions, as well as officially notifies that they abandon plans to join NATO, an order to cease fire and begin negotiations will immediately follow from our side.
Ukraine and its allies always say Russia could end the war at any time by returning to its internationally recognized borders. That is unlikely for now. So too is Kiev agreeing to Putin's demands.
There is quite strong mood here in Moscow that if Friday's Putin's proposal will be rejected, there is no other way than intensify the war. But this is quite a dangerous way out.
Both sides may be talking about peace, but they both have very different visions of it. Oduayo Sawyer, Osrc News.
In a related development, leaders from dozens of countries have reaffirmed their commitment to Ukraine's territorial integrity and called for dialogue to end the war with Russia. It is the result of 2 days of talks at a major peace summit in Switzerland, where Russia wasn't invited. In spite of that, the Ukrainian president was optimistic about the results. The report.
They came to this mountain suite resort to talk about the idea of peace in Ukraine, but with Russia not even invited, the remit was limited to the parameters of a possible deal. 80 countries signed the final communique, but 90 attendees didn't, despite that there are plans for another summit, possibly with Russia as an attendance.
I'm confident that together we will ensure the result. The first and the second peace summits should unite our joint work on the details of peace. We are at a war and we don't have time for prolonged war.
Ukraine closest allies are hoping this event, along with a $50 billion loan from the G7 with fresh military support from NATO, could perhaps be a turning point.
Our support and this peace summit here brings real peace closer. The goal is a just, comprehensive and lasting peace. This would finally bring an end to the oppression and suffering of the Ukrainian people.
How much closer do you think you are to bringing the war to an end?
I cannot tell you when the war will end. It's not in my hands. But I know that we are making some major steps towards restoring just and lasting peace. These are 2 key words, just and lasting. Not peace at any expense.
Yes, 80 countries have signed up to the communique, but it is worth comparing that the beginning of the war in March 2022, when there was a vote in the UN General Assembly. 143 nations voted to condemn Russia. As a snapshot of global opinion, it is pretty telling.
Now to India, where wells are running dry as a scorching heat wave with temperatures over 45 degrees Celsius sweeps the country. Women in affected villages must collect water by hand daily. The water level in wells has fallen, forcing reliance on government trucks for water refills. Water is also being diverted to major cities, worsening the local crisis. Despite local pleas, the water crisis is expected to worsen due to increasing demand and unsustainable groundwater depletion.
We face a lot of problems because of shortages. The water level in the well has fallen. We spend all our time on water and can't do any other work.
Areas around Mumbai metro region where there's multiple dams, all built in tribal areas, and it's not only that the tribal people not only not get any benefit, but it's the tribal people who suffer when these dams are built in terms of submergence, in terms of impact, in terms of deprivation from forests and natural resources.
Whatever water we have all goes to Mumbai. Our situation remains as it was and we don't get water to drink. The government is only concerned about rich people. They don't think about the poor.
Now talking sports, England are off to a winning start at the Euros with the team's superstar midfielder Jude Bellingham scoring the only goal of the game against Serbia in a nervy 1-0 victory. It was enough for 40,000 fans in Germany and millions back at home in the UK to celebrate. Odroya Sawyer again reports.
Go, go, go!
This is why police were so concerned. Fighting in Gelsenkirchen hours before England's Euro opener against Serbia. Riot officers are racing to this restaurant as chairs, tables and bottles are thrown. 7 Serbians were taken into custody, but police said fans were also involved.
You saw about 50 lads just come down from the right hand side and just go straight through the pub. Bottles, chairs, whatever they could grab, they were throwing.
Some of the guys, Serbian fans, came out of them and they threw them, you know, like there was a fight and everything was over.
This match was always labelled high risk by police, but this was an isolated flashpoint. Police praised an exuberant atmosphere around the stadium, and England had much to enjoy inside after 13 minutes. How quickly Jude Bellingham has become integral to England and still only 20. Creative celebrations too, but Serbia were creating danger. Kieran Trippier with the block, England clinging on, saved by Serbia's inability to finish. Harry Kane denied by a fine reaction save, and Jordan Pickford came to England's rescue on a frustrating night for Kane up front. A key clearance from the captain, an anxious end for the Three Lions after all the first half dominance. This match saw the fewest shots at the Euros in decades, but Jude Bellingham made the most with one. England's game changer. How far can he take them?
And with our sports story, we conclude World at Noon. Many thanks for your time. And once again, happy Eid al-Kabir celebration.